Sonic the Hedgehog is about to make his theatrical debut in 2020 on Valentine's Day. And right now, everybody is talking about it. The trials and the tribulations that led to Sonic being in the position that he is now. And how this movie won the favor of audiences everywhere after initially alienating every single Sonic fan that's ever existed. But this is far from the first ever Sonic the Hedgehog movie. So in this series, I'm going to be taking a look back at this character's theatrical history, with the different Sonic feature films that didn't make it, or in some cases actually did. So sit back, relax, subscribe. We're going to be looking at Sonic movies. If you're just dying for the release of Sonic the Hedgehog the movie in 2020, then good news. You don't have to wait at all to see a cinematic Sonic in live action interacting with real-life human beings. You can see that on YouTube for free, and have been able to do so since 2013 with Blue Core Studios' Sonic. Now you're probably wondering, what's the catch? Well, it's a fan film. But before you all switch off, it's very professionally made fan film, starring the original Sonic himself, Jaleel White, strapping on the red sneakers for the first time since the end of Sonic Underground.
Way past cool, huh?
The director and producer, New York Emmy Award-winning Eddie LeBron, has also got a great body of work attached to his name and today works for NBC Universal. Now, these are all things he's gone on to do since Sonic, as Mr. LeBron made a name for himself making fan films, most notably before this, the Mega Man fan film. And going into this, you must be aware that this is, at the end of the day, a fan film, made out of the pockets of all involved. This was not a budgeted project, so you can't really go into these things expecting seamless special effects and CGI. However, for what it's worth, Blue Core Studios made it work. Sonic is very much a product of its time. It was released in 2013 and is clearly inspired by Christopher Nolan's Batman films. This isn't your classic Sonic, it's very much a thriller epic, and while personally this interpretation of Sonic doesn't really work for me, it is intriguing to see this extremely stylized version of an otherwise light-hearted character brought to life and how familiar characters have been realized and utilized in the film. The film's story is that Dr. Robotnik is holding Mobius to ransom in pursuit of the South Islanders, which are the Sonic characters as we know them, talking animals, and is prepared to take any means necessary, declaring war, torturing prisoners, roboticizing hostages, all part of the greater plan to obtain the Chaos Emeralds and destroy the final known South Islander, the mysterious Blue Blur. GUN are sent into the Green Hill Zone to fight back against Dr. Robotnik's Empire of Badniks and uncover the mystery of this Blue Blur. From the booming orchestral soundtrack to the wide shots of the landscapes and environments, you can really feel the inspiration from the at that time modern blockbuster, and the scene is set nicely with the opening credits displaying the visual of the Chaos Emeralds emerging from a giant ring. It's very dramatic and it sets up Robotnik's motivation early on in the film. From that first scene, we've got egg carriers sweeping the natural landscapes, explosions, the president declaring crisis, Mobians in the cities all flocking to see the terrifying sight of the Robotnik Empire, Gamma robots are entering the forests, the existence of the Blue Blur is now political. This is all extremely ambitious, but to be fair, they did manage to pull it off. For a fan film, the CGI and cinematography are absolutely astonishing. Heck, even for an official motion picture, with the exception of the explosions, it's all very convincing. Dr. Robotnik has been reimagined, no longer just a comedic foil for Sonic, but a threat to the entire world. A cruel, merciless warmonger with endless resources, and actor DJ Hazard portrays this expertly.
They're all extinct. I made sure of that.
DJ Hazard is the scene stealer of this film. He absolutely owns it, with his intimidating, gravelly voice. And even through the specs and moustache, he manages to get some seriously good facial acting in there. Now, I feel like Dr. Robotnik is kind of the epitome of what this film is. He's a seriously radical reimagining of an otherwise very light-hearted character, yet he maintains an extremely goofy character design, complete with the red overalls and yellow cape. And yet to maintain his realism, his moustache is now really short as opposed to the giant one we know and love. yet it's still orange. And that's basically an ideal metaphor for what this film is. It takes a subject matter that prides itself on being goofy, but takes it immensely seriously, yet it only kind of goes halfway with the overall aesthetic, which makes everything feel just a little bit out of place. This Dr. Robotnik outfit is awesome and extremely faithful to the original Japanese Dr. Robotnik design, but they just didn't sell me on the little orange moustache. Honestly, I feel like DJ Hazzard and Jim Carrey would benefit from an outfit swap. With Jim Carrey, we've got a Dr. Robotnik that's goofier than any previous incarnation of the character, and yet he's wearing a dark trench coat and looks like a very modern and subtle reimagining of the character. With DJ Hazzard, we've got the most serious rendition of the character since Sonic 06, and yet he's walking around in kind of a my mum made me a superhero costume getup. I also feel that a full beard or a dark handlebar moustache definitely would have been better than this fluffy little upper lip caterpillar he's got going on. Then again, I'm nobody to shame a moustache. I'm 23 years old and I can't grow one. Can I also just express some appreciation for the internal egg carrier set design? It looks amazing! Hollywood has a tendency to over-design futuristic settings, but this is perfect. Now I do wonder if this is CGI and green screened or if it's a practical set, but either way it looks truly superb. It looks futuristic and functional, but at the same time very bronzy. There's a very foggy atmosphere to it, a truly imposing location for an evil mastermind to set up base. Green Hill Zone is a beautiful woodland mountainous vista full of drone shots. I do wonder if any of this is stock footage for the establishing shots, because this must have cost a lot to achieve some of these shots. But I won't lie though, as beautiful as this is, I'm still not quite content with calling it Green Hill Zone, because it's so earthy. Green Hill is kind of the place that has palm trees and this doesn't. Put it down to preference, but for me the Art Deco environments have always been a big part of Sonic, as big as Sonic himself. We do see the mainland of the Green Hill Zone at the very end of the film, which is much more in line with that art style, but the camera angles chosen for a number of the establishing shots make it look like a putt-putt golf course. I'm not going to go too hard on the CGI because it is a fan film, and I'm not the kind of dick that's going to downrank a film based on something that requires more money than can be reasonably expected from a fan film, but I feel like a different camera angle would have helped. In terms of GUN raiding the Green Hill Zone to battle Dr. Robotnik, it must be said it's a little underwhelming. GUN are treated as this sort of militant task force to go in and battle an entire empire, and yet we only see a very small group of them, just walking through the forest. They seem more like a suicide squad than a military organization. I also feel like a smaller extension of the film showing that these guys are one of many squads going in and better introducing us to these individual characters would have done wonders in contextualizing this, because the individuals do play a surprisingly big role in this. Dr. Robotnik's badniks are realized entirely in CGI and they look terrific. We've got E100 Gammas, which serve as Dr. Robotnik's main pawns, the Motorbugs, the Buzz Bombers, all lovingly rendered in really good CGI. There are some production goofs here and there though, particularly an instant where one of the GUN operatives yells Buzz Bombers, but then we see no Buzz Bombers but simple E100s.
Buzz Bombers! They know we're here.
Freeze!
It's kind of bizarre to me that they didn't just CGI some Buzz Bombers into the shot for good measure. It would have been fixable by just having one Buzz Bomber fly across the screen. Bada bing, bada boom, fixed. Classic era YouTube fans are in for a treat too, as there's an abundance of cameos from internet stars from this time, such as Screw Attack, Angry Video Game Nerd, Doug Walker, and many more. And then we have Sonic himself, another entirely CGI creation, and he is hit and miss. He definitely doesn't work as well as Dr. Robotnik, but the fact that this is a fan film on a teeny tiny budget, and we've got a fully CGI Sonic the Hedgehog with a brand new character model to so much work as well as it does, is a tremendous achievement. So in terms of Sonic's design, we've got a more realistic take on the character, which isn't too far of a cry from Sonic's 2020 film design. And it does stay pretty faithful to Sonic's modern look. He's very much the Sonic you know and love, but he has realistic fur, thick quills, and a permanently centered, wide mouth complete with lips. The tan parts of him do not have fur on them, they are instead smooth. Surprisingly enough, the joined mono eye is still there, so I think the fur works, the quills don't, the center mouth can work, but how wide it is problematic, and I'm definitely not fond of the realistic lips. I also have a problem with the eyes. While they're framed nice and wide, the pupils are just too narrow. They really could have benefited from a little widening, as this gives Sonic an oddly sharp glare. Let's be real though, this design is god tier compared to Paramount's first attempt. Now with Sonic's animation, again it's hit and miss. It's surprisingly good during the conversation scene with GUN, but there is some wonky geometry here and there, and his movements are quite stiff by a professional film standard. By a fan film standard, though, that you can watch for free, it's terrific. I feel like Sonic is a character that does rely a little on fluid movement, so yes, it is an issue, but I do empathize with the animators. This was never going to be an easy task. For what it's worth, they made it work. I feel like when it comes to talking about fan films, you kind of have to just treat the project for what it is and fill in a few gaps yourself. There are also some technical goofs, with Sonic leaping out of the aspect ratio, but at the same time, since this has happened, map break has become a thing in Hollywood productions. I still don't like it, but we can't really level that against this film anymore because it ended up being a pioneering move. And then there is, of course, the actor playing Sonic, Jaleel White, returning to the role. I do like Jaleel White's Sonic. He is in many ways the definitive voice of classic Sonic, and he does lend an expressive performance. It's a treat to hear the original back in the role after all these years, but I will say, Jaleel White's voice has definitely aged.
The Blue Blur. Pretty sure you've heard of me, considering I'm #1 on Robotnik's hit list. The Blue Blur is cool, but you got me, Sonic.
He sounds significantly gravelier than he used to. Sonic having a gravelly voice just doesn't sit right with me, and it doesn't help how kind of grisly this character model looks for Sonic at times. Jaleel White was a tremendous get for this film, but I don't think he serviced it all too well. It's certainly a treat for Sonic fans though, and what can I say, this is a Sonic fan film. Performances overall range from good to what you'd expect from a fan film. I'll say this, a lot of this dialogue would be tremendously difficult for any actor to pull off. The dialogue is about as goofy as it is in Sonic games usually. It's clunky, it's stiff, a lot of it is completely unnecessary and has a tendency to be overly dramatic. I don't know if this is an homage to the dialogue in Sonic games, but I don't hear a long time no see or I'm Sonic, Sonic the Hedgehog in there, so it's hard to say. I generally have less qualms about criticizing a script because it's easier to nail a good script than it is special effects and cinematography. There's one particular actor in the film who's being tortured by Dr. Robotnik, and I have every faith that he was trying his best, but his line is, "No, you goddamn monster," while staring down DJ Hazard in a cape and overalls and a load of robots that aren't really there.
No! You goddamn monster! All of this will end soon.
It's, well, you'd struggle too. Dr. Robotnik himself has a lot of faux sophisticated dialogue that basically equates to, "Grr, I'm Robotnik, I'm the villain." Why did they think it was necessary to clarify to us that Dr. Robotnik was formerly Dr. Kintobor when Robotnik's origins aren't even explored in the slightest in this film? Was this fan service to the early Fleetway comics? Why is one of the GUN operatives so overtly racist? Why does Sonic randomly start flirting with the GUN lady out of absolutely nowhere in the middle of a battle scene?
See something you like?
Uh,
I hope not. I mean, you're pretty and all, but...
no. You're
a hedgehog. And proud of it.
Yikes. The script definitely could have used a little once-over to polish off some of that dialogue, but as they say, hindsight is always 20/20. Like many fan films, Sonic isn't perfect. Like many Sonic games, this fan film isn't perfect. It's not perfect, and that's fine. I personally don't think Sonic works well in this genre or this environment, but Blue Core Studios did extremely well to make it work as well as they did. I think the internet has a tendency to belittle the efforts of filmmakers as passionate as Eddie LeBron and his team, and can often forget just how much work had to go into the project to bring us a Sonic short that we can see for free. How much of their hard-earned money was spent for our entertainment and their love of the character. Whether you like this film or not, we must never lose sight of this, because otherwise we can grow cruel to emerging talent. Sonic is a remarkable and highly noteworthy fan film that is well worth checking out before you go to see the 2020 motion picture. As well as that, it is approved by the original creator of Sonic the Hedgehog, Yuji Naka. So Sonic by Blue Core Studios, what do you guys think? Comment below and discuss, and as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the like button, and in the description below are links to my Patreon and my Discord. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and until the next time, go away. Oh, hey gang, look at this! Channel Goat is back. But he's got bad news. His computer was hacked by the Adzinco gang, and they leaked his private information. And now his goat cojones are there for everybody to see. Ah man, that's quite a predicament you got there, Channel Goat. And the thing is, you're not the only one. Do you know how many people get hacked per year and have their personal information and data spread online for all to see? A lot. Like, look it up. And I know what the rest of you are thinking. It hasn't happened to me, yet. Well, emphasis on yet. I mean, how old are you? Right, now how long is the average human lifespan? That's a lot of time that you could get hacked in. And by the time that's done, everybody is gonna know what your PP looks like. Do you really want that? Do you really want the world to see your PP? You run that risk every single day, guys. Seriously, hackers, pretty talented people. Which is why I, for one, use NordVPN to protect my private information and my Nords. It shuffles your data so that it can't be found by hackers, but not only that, it can also unlock the worldwide range of Netflix. And like, who wouldn't want that, right? Now you can really maximize your subscription. The fact is, guys, you could save yourself the stress and a lawsuit by simply browsing with NordVPN. And I've made it easy for you. A link is in the description below. And this subscription comes with a promise. Nobody has to know what you're into anymore. You little furry you. Anyway, sign up today. Seriously, do it. Please? For your sweet little puppy? This video is brought to you by Zentai Zentai for all your cosplay needs. Link is in the description below and they are very cool and good. Cosplay your favorite characters or send in one of your own designs. Affordable prices and very high quality. Made to order and made to measure. But most of all, made to be heckin' awesome, if you couldn't already tell. Guys, can you believe where we are now and where we started? How long ago it was that Channel Pup, or Channel Go even, came about? Because it really wasn't that long when you think about it. Can you believe the amount of support I've received from this community, from all of you subscribing to the channel and everything? It's unreal. It's a dream come true for me. But behind the YouTubers you watch usually comes a bit of a truth, is that they're often dirt poor. Now, I've had the good fortune of being able to grow this YouTube channel and hopefully turn it into a career, but I'm gonna need a little bit of help along the way, to even the odds to make ends meet, so that I can use all of the possible time that I have to make videos for you guys, as opposed to doing something mundane, for barely enough money to make it worth its while. I've done all that, I've lived that life. The fact is, together we all built Channel Pup, we made it what it is today, and I want to keep the ball rolling on that. I don't ever want to stop doing this, because this is the most gratifying job I've ever had, and I think the most pleasurable hobby anyone could ever have. I don't take any of the support that I receive from you guys for granted, but if in any way you're wondering if maybe you could do a little more for the channel even, then I want to direct you to the Patreon link in the description below. It would mean the world to me to have your support via Patreon. It can help me to make ends meet, it can help me to better my content, it can help me to have more time to really work on this stuff. But you know what, I'm not just gonna take your support and run. No way, Jose. In the Patreon, you can access exclusive videos via the Pups Project Room playlist, where you can see different projects that I've been working on or have worked on that have either not made it to YouTube for general viewing or have been cancelled, or, well, you can get a little view of the process that goes behind the Channel Pup videos and productions. As well as that, you tend to get advanced previews of the bigger Channel Pup projects, our tentpole event projects. If you've seen Marvelous Tales of Spider-Man, you'll be aware that that was released on the Patreon first, and 20 days later approximately was released for general viewing on YouTube. That's not the only time I'm gonna do this. But you know what? If you can't do the Patreon, or are just not interested in doing the Patreon, I fully understand. Like, it's still a big ask in my opinion. And what counts most is your support. So, as always, thank you so much, guys. I've been Channel Pup, and I will think of a better catchphrase next time. Now please leave me alone!